This be for the highest good of all. Blessed be. We started at 112. Feels like divine time. Man, is this letter empty? That's going to be the whole replay, me just clicking the thing. Thanks for taking the time to click on this video. A lot of the people are going to catch the replay because it's the middle of the night right now. I don't even have my contacts in. I was tossing and turning in bed for a minute, and I knew I needed to get up and get the content going. This lighter's cooked, y'all. You have to believe sometimes, boom. Do you see that? Sometimes you think you're not going to get it. But today we are lit. Fire family, stay lit, stay positive. It's Mr. Meyer with the fire, here to take the collective vibe higher. And I had to jump on today to give a message, speak from the heart. And I'm going to put this on the Queen's altar right quick. Did you guys see what's going on? I'm in the robe. I'm cozy up. I'm chilling. I got the sun in the chat. What's good? What's good? What's good? I see Chevy too. What's good? So I'm going to tell you, man, everything in life goes through change. It goes through transition. And this has been a hell of a year, a hell of a life. Oh my goodness. Talking about change, man. The changes we're going through. I'm going to read the cards and the stars and give a little bit of perspective on this, but more than anything, my heart wants to give the collective reassurance. Reassurance. What's good, Nadi, Chevy? So good to see the queens. I think it's worth noting, if you have made it here, you've conquered every one of your other battles in your past. So if you are one of those people, like they say, that is fighting the battle that they don't ever tell anybody about, you got a pretty good list of wins already. The message today is stack the wins. It's stack the wins. Before I even pull the cards, I'm going to show you the chart and I'm going to talk to you. Let me show you the chart, because I'm looking at the chart. You might be wondering, what am I looking at? I'm looking at the chart. Let me put it on the screen. It's powerful stuff. I'm going to also let Discord know really quick that this one is live. Late night live on YouTube. We don't usually do this. Right now, guys. I'm not even going to tag everybody because I don't want people's phones to vibrate really late at night. This is really Divination After Dark. It's been a good night. I was intending to turn it in early, and I'm still going to wake up early, but I was just called to get on here and talk to the people. Videos are timeless. You know, people are going to watch them whenever the time is right. But for those watching the channel, you know, or the live, this is basically the turning of the wheel on a couple different levels. And I'm going to explain that. What's going on is Monday, like Sunday to Monday, you know, a new week is starting. That's pretty cool. I love the days of the week. I hope that doesn't sound too juvenile, but I mean, from an astrologer perspective and from a magician perspective, I like how the week is ending off with Saturn and the sun, and then we move into the moon. And, you know, I like that kind of rhythm. It makes it exciting for me. So anyway, we're starting a new week, number one. And then number two, guys, it's December now. And that means it's the last month of Pope Gregory's calendar. Oh my goodness. It's been a heck of a year. So I know there's already cause for introspection and reflection, thinking about how far you come. What did you accomplish? What goals did you have? What's the progress look like, you know, from a more pagan or even, you know, natural perspective? We're sitting between Samhain and Yule. So right now, It's like a space beyond space. It's like a time beyond time. A lot of us may feel kind of spaced out right now. So it's good to have, a reality check every now and then and be like, okay, boom, it's December 1st. Boom, the sun is in tropical Sagittarius. The moon is in, the sign of Aries. The moon is waxing right now. We are a little bit past the first quarter phase this week. I believe it's Thursday. We're going to have our full moon in Gemini. And I'm really excited for this energy. I'm going to shuffle up a little bit and give you my thoughts on it. And I hope you guys have a great full moon no matter what you do. Of course, you can ritualize the process, but you could also just chill and connect with your own emotions, your own moon. You could use that time to get comfortable. A lot of the witches that I know, I will say, they do releasing on the full moon. So I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. I just want to shout out Rachie Rach, Gemini rising. How are you doing, Queen? So good to see you. And Lyra's in here too. Oh my goodness. No, I literally had to get on because I knew when I was tossing and turning in my bed for like over an hour, I knew that meant spirit was putting me on night watch. I'm not going to make this too long and drawn out, but I knew that meant they were calling me for the third shift, right? We got an exciting Monday planned, so I'm going to be getting back to rest once we get the transmission out, I don't know. Sometimes this makes me feel like, back in the day before we had YouTube really popping off. I don't know if y'all remember that, but like people would listen like radio through the night. Some people still listen to radio through the night, so it's kind of like one of those programs. But how cool is it that we have like an astrology clock too? All right, but let me tell you guys, Gemini's the twins. Let's talk about this Gemini full moon for a second, because I really think this is a good energy to be consciously aware of. Of course, we're going to get a full moon in Gemini every single year without fail. It's just part of the lunar cycle. I would just mention that full moons are a really good time to release. And the reason for that is physical. If you watch the lunar cycle over this month or every month, once the moon is done with the full phase, it immediately starts the waning phase. As the moon goes through that phase, it starts to shrink from our perspective as it reflects less light and we move towards the new beginning. So there's always some form of release going on around the full moon, or a culmination even of a certain energy. And we feel this in our body because the moon does pull on the gravity of the planet. So what does Gemini really deal with? What I want to say before I answer that is that the crazy thing about astrology and what we're doing right now is we're using archetypes to communicate, which is crazy to think about. I'll explain that for a sec. Archetypes to communicate. There's certain pillars of existence really that just are, and being able to communicate them is one thing. There's truly a gap between what you know and what you're able to communicate to the world, or even what the world would be able to communicate to you. But I say that to say that archetypes are basically things that are just embedded within existence, and each of us will have our own universal and personal, but also universal experience with said archetype or image. And in this term, we're using astrology. We're looking at primarily certain constellations plus the planets. Okay. And then thinking about the shape of the constellations and then the physical characteristics of the planets and their relationship to those spaces and what these archetypes could mean. And this isn't news. Essentially, anyone who's drawn to astrology already knows this on some level of their consciousness, but like that's really what we're trying to do right now, guys. So I wanted to lay that out before I give you my thoughts, because ultimately, as a language, astrology will start to read to you like English or Spanish or whatever you speak, because it is keyword analysis. Like we have the archetypes, boom. We all start to associate things with them, boom. We get a bunch of words, boom. So eventually you stare at these symbols long enough, they just start translating to you. Okay. Hope you see that, because that's what's going on. And I think if people can recognize that, they'll grab astrology a lot faster. Because on one note, it seems really technical and scholarly, because you have to draw wheels and count numbers and there's math to it. But at the end of the day, it's also intuitive. It's also spiritual. It's also, quantum physical. It's very interesting. So let's talk about this full moon in Gemini. Because what that's basically suggesting is that we're culminating the energy of Gemini and Mercury, and we're releasing something that deals with our perception, how we deal with the environment, how we relate. Gemini is a symbol. It's twins. So Gemini has every sign, of course, has a long list of significations and correspondences. So Gemini in the third house, it deals with even our surroundings, our siblings, our relatives. It deals with our personal computer, our phones, our cars, the planes and trains, like the places that we are able to travel short term and quickly to. So the Gemini full moon, in everything in astrology gives such a wide range of possibilities. But what I was really seeing before I hopped out of bed to get on this live, in my mind's eye, as I was drifting off in the temples, I was looking at Gemini and I was thinking about how, everybody has a self concept, like a version of themselves. Like self is such a crazy word, guys, because we have like a conscious self, we have a name, we have a body, we have emotions, we have ideas. We can even start to think about our spiritual self, like our soul. So what really constitutes who you are? How do you identify, basically? So I bring this back to Mercury. Like Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet Mercury. As we look at it through our charts, it says everything about how our mind is working and how we're perceiving the world, how we're interacting with information too. So as we look at the full moon ruled by Mercury, I think this is really putting a spotlight on everybody's perception in general. But I should really emphasize a spotlight. The way you see things in life is going to become more clear to you at this time. And the way that plays out for you will totally be unique to you. As a Leo Mercury myself, it's got me thinking about, identity more than anything. How do I perceive me? And how can I choose a more strong and powerful version of me? There's a big mental health conversation overlaying this whole Gemini lens. We could go on and on about this for days, man. I literally am receiving so much download, and you guys probably are the same way. Once the moon starts to fill up, you can really, you really start to pick up its energy. You saying that tracks? Cool. I figured you feel me, dude. Yeah. You ruled by us being ruled by Mercury and everything. So there's some interesting energies this week, guys. I'll tell you these. And I'm going to flip the chart over for a week. I'm going to get the cards out for you, and then I'll send you guys on your merry way. Then I go back to the temple. But here's our chart at the moment as we sit in the liminal space between Sunday and Monday. Divination after dark. The moon is at 9 degrees of Sag. Sun is at 9 Sag. We're still in the post-retro shadow. And I'm sure some of you feel that. But the sun is in 9 Sag. The moon is at 17 Aries. Again, waxing. Mercury is finally direct. 20 degrees of Scorpio. Still going through that shadow. Venus just switched over. 0 degrees of Sag. Mars is at 19 Sag. You've got Jupiter retrograde at 24 Cancer. Saturn direct at 25 Pisces. Uranus retro 29 Taurus. Neptune at 29 Pisces retrograde, and Pluto direct 1 degree of Aquarius. And of course, these outer planets aren't going to move so much over the course of the week, but we'll be halfway through Sagittarius next Sunday. The sun will be about 16 degrees. The moon will be waning at that point because we'll break that full moon about Thursday. Okay. Mercury's going to move up 5 degrees to 25 Scorpio. But like I said, Venus started at 9, guys. So even though she's going up to 9 degrees, I'm bugging. I'm at 0. She started at 0. She's going to 9. This whole week is a fresh start for Venus. Okay. We got Mars moving to 24 Sag. Jupiter moves back a degree. Saturn isn't changing degrees. The other planets really aren't doing much either, like we talked about. So, excuse me. Really, it just revolves around the sun, the moon, and these Sagittarius planets. I don't know. I don't mean to be diminutive because we could really do this all day. But what I do like is that we started Sag with Mars in sign of Sagittarius. And then as we spin into this week, you know, off of the Mercury retrograde with Venus making her ingress, this week does have a shinier color and a more tasty flavor, I guess I could say. We love this. Sag is a trip, guys. I will tell you, like, no pun intended. Sagittarius is the archer, the philosopher, the traveler. Sag and Gemini are opposites, of course, because there's a full moon coming up this week. And most of you guys know this already, but if there's a full moon, the moon is always opposite the sun. That's just kind of how the physics work. But if Gemini deals with the familiar places and the immediate surroundings, Sagittarius is all about what's really far off and distant and where you have to move a little bit and travel. Things that are foreign to you, right? So a lot of times that's what this season is about as we turn the wheel before we hit that next solstice and switch into Capricorn and really get into the winter time as we round off fall. Sagittarius is expansive and vast, and it asks us a lot of questions. Things get really philosophical, they get kind of deep. You know, on one note, there's a more excited, optimistic, jubilant energy. You know, Sagittarius, or the Jupiter energy, does say a lot about our belief systems and our moral structures. So, you know, the beauty of Sagittarius is the fun and the freedom and things meaning something. But the shadow side of Sagittarius is excess, doing too much, being really reckless. Also, this could also look like being dogmatic, arrogant, like a bigot, even a hypocrite. You know, Jupiter doesn't like limits so much. It's like more and more and more, right? I don't like to classify these planets archetypes as good or bad because a lot of times that is reflecting a kind of a moral system that we ourselves kind of project outward, and we may or may not be wrong. I got Pluto in Sagittarius, so this shit hits deep for me, to be honest. I know a lot of you guys got Pluto in Sagittarius, like, God bless. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so you got Mars here as well, guys. And I want to say something I said on my podcast. Be aware of this over the last part of the year, guys. There's a really interesting transit, and it's the sun conjunct to Mars, basically. You can see it in the chart right here. It's in the local third house if you're watching the screen. But you can see it on your phone if you pull up your own charts. And I'll show you, over the end of December, the sun and Mars basically get closer and closer together. It's going to be somewhere in January. Yeah, in early January where the sun finally crosses over Mars. I don't know if my chart is animating on this screen. I think it's not. That's a bummer. I'll show it to you guys now. Okay. This is yeah, like somewhere in the middle of January, you're going to see the sun finally cross over to Mars. We'll have a crazy stellium right there on that tag. I wonder why it stopped animating. Maybe we could blame it on Mercury, but Mercury's probably tired of our shit. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, so what does that mean? The sun and Mars. This is the theme for the next 6 weeks, basically, guys. And that's sun, energy, our drive, our, conscious desire even. And then you've got Mars, which is a lot of the same things. These are both very masculine energies, but Mars is more about our will and our choices and, even our instincts. It definitely kind of overlaps as far as desire goes, what a person genuinely wants. And also, this is a more occult, way of seeing Mars, but it's real. I've seen that Mars is the god of war. So the idea is really destruction. So when you see Mars transit, and sometimes even in the natal chart, it indicates what's being destroyed or what needs to be removed. Okay. And that's an interesting concept, and I think this really does kind of color this next month or two, is that creation can be a form of destruction. And technically, destruction is a form of creation. And how that's going to apply to your life simply is that you don't have to add more things. Okay. Know and understand that, especially because this is the time as we turn the wheel where we start setting new goals and, you know, raising the standards and raising the stakes from this feeling of inspiration. And I'm not trying to tell you growth is not the answer, because growth is the absolute meaning of life. If you willfully participate in growth and are conscious of that participation, you're probably going to be pretty satisfied and happy with your life and even the results too, Fire Family. That's a beautiful thing. But all I'm trying to say, man, is that, with the Jupiter inflating things right now and people wanting to put, pressure on themselves and make sure they're growing and reaching for their heights, just consider it might not always be about what other stuff can you do. Maybe try taking things away. I call that addition by subtraction. That's what I heard it was called. Some things you can just remove from your life and then you automatically have a better life. And energy has to go somewhere too. So yeah, less could truly be more. Keep that in mind, fam. And this might be like a lot of people's attitudes, for better or for worse, going through the rest of this year. So I think if you can abide by virtues of the sun and the Mars and just be humble, be brave, but be humble. Mars and the sun, be brave, but be humble. Man, you're going to see miracles come from your life in this next year, because it's not just going to be over the month. It's going to be the repercussions forever. You changing that character. And like I said, we could go on and on for days about each archetype, but I know that for the full moon in Gemini, there's going to be some big changes coming this week, guys. Some huge changes. People are going to be moving. People are going to be starting new friend groups and making new connections, shedding some old ones, switching like furniture around in the house. Oh man, deleting social media profiles, making new ones, new websites will be created. It's like there's so much change happening at all times in the world. And I think on a meta level, this full moon in Gemini is going to help us all see that everything is so connected, and to really be aware of how you relate to information, for better or for worse. Not all knowledge is good knowledge. We function off results here, Fire Family. There's no other way to function, really, unless you live in delusion world, and that's not what the fuck we're doing. Nah. Neptune in Pisces is getting out of Pisces for the last time in your life, man. So say goodbye to La La Land, bro. It's about over. It's about over. Are you guys ready? Let's get into the cards. Oh, let me speak about Venus and Sagittarius too, but let me turn the stream off in the weekend. Oh, not the stream. Let me stop the screen share. Oh, Lord, I almost hang up on y'all. That's crazy. Let's get into the spread. Oh, yeah. So Venus and Sagittarius, guys, don't spend all your money. Unless you're investing it, then YOLO that shit, fam. But practice good risk management. Have a risk management plan. Because Venus and Sag, that's going to take that Jupiter energy and bring it right to our joy this week in our relationships and our money. Venus and Sagittarius. Like I said, this week kind of has a more vibrant glow, Venus and Sag means a lot of things. And one thing I'm seeing it means is spiritual relationships. So you could take that literal or figurative, in the sense that, this transit will, of course, bring a lot of people new connections with new spirits, whether that's ancestor spirits or spirit guides or different deities. That's definitely going to happen. But you'll also see that when it comes to your life, the people you associate with, there's a need for some type of meaning, spiritual meaning, or some values guiding and directing y'all together. So we're going to get into the spread and see what's going on with the collective on the sleepless night. The, what do you call this? The night watch, divination after dark. She said Five Below hates to see me come. Okay. It's going to be a good week, man. You heard it here first. Unless you already telling people it's a good week, because it's going to be. And here's the thing, Fire Family. As you're going through your journey and you're crushing your goals and you're aspiring for more and you're living life to the fullest, what you really got to do is learn to stack the wins. Stack the wins and acknowledge the wins. Momentum is a miracle. Momentum is a superpower. And really what gets a lot of people stuck is inertia or just stagnation. So you got to start to notice the small wins, like even the mental wins, the emotional wins, and then the physical wins. And then the small wins will start to build into bigger wins. Bigger ones. Let's start with the cards, guys. See what they're talking about. The Emperor in reverse. The Emperor in reverse. And this is really speaking to the collective's pain and their power that feels unexpressed, or the weakness that we feel as people. Emperor in reverse. This is anger that can't be, I don't want to say can't, fuck that. This is anger that hasn't been expressed in the past, that was stifled and internalized, and that's difficult. I'm gonna move the candle a little so y'all can see this shit. The Emperor in reverse. Speaking on these downloads I've been receiving, guys, my goodness. I know I'm reading these cards right, dude. It's crazy. There's so much that has to be released in the collective. And you'll see it happen every full moon and, cyclically through all the transits. But I think by and large, this is saying that our collective kind of has a problem with communicating some of the stuff that's going on. And that statement has no moral judgment attached to it whatsoever. I just want to make that clear, because it refers back to what I said earlier about there's literally a gap between what we know and what we can communicate. It's the simple truth. Language is limited. I mean, and beyond not knowing how to express things, sometimes the environment doesn't support us to express certain things. Or maybe we do express things, but it doesn't actually make the change that we're looking for. Like when you're trying to talk to someone who's not listening. Ace of Swords in reverse, the Magician in reverse. This is a fucked up energy, y'all. If y'all are seeing this shit, oh my goodness, man. That's a fucked up energy. I'm laughing because damn, dude. The story gets better, but damn, fam. The Magician in reverse. This is like blind ignorance, willful ignorance is what I'm seeing. Is that like some people, this looks like the pain of unaccountability. That's what I'm seeing in the collective's energy. This is ripping. We're just starting, guys. We're 3 cards in. Oh my goodness. This already hitting. I see you guys in the chat. This is hitting. Oh my goddess. Oh my goddess. Drink some water for that. Get some Florida water for that. Heavy. I've said this before, and I don't know if I'm right about this, but I think accountability is a gift you can really only give to yourself. I say that because, like, if you ever seen a person who doesn't choose accountability, it's like they're not hearing shit, fam. They don't want to listen to anything. She said, be right back. I'm going to need a ritual bath. What do we got? The Hermit in reverse. Today. Does the kid sleep? I'm up late. I know a lot of y'all is past your bedtime. But hey, man, when you're a witch, you just function on that type of timing. Yeah, the moon's filling up, guys. The Hermit in reverse, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that also speaks to wounding, because that's Virgo, our health, the wounds we may have. The message I want to give to the world, because this message was given to me by spirit personally. So I'm airing it out there, man, getting personal. But there is no part of you that's really broken. But wounds are a real thing. Okay. If you're here right now, if you're navigating the internet, comprehending words and shit, dude, you're not broken. But yeah, wounds are a real thing. And I'm seeing them in the middle of the spread. The Knight of Swords. I'm also seeing someone who's so alive as well. So ready to run, so ready to rock, excited for life. That part's in there too. Queen of Swords energy, and then the Six of fucking Wands in reverse. Damn. Okay. I don't mean to exaggerate, guys. I know it's Sagittarius season, but I really think this reading is for a genius. Like, if someone has been sitting in this conversation for this long, I think you're a genius. You got the Knight and the Queen of Swords. This looks like cat dog. If you really look at it, with the damn the horse coming out of the back of the chariot. Do you guys see this? That looks like that cat dog off Cartoon Network. But that is out of this world, fam. Anyway, you're on some other shit, dude. That's what that said. The Six of Wands in reverse. Even winners get sad sometimes. I mean, you don't always win. You don't always get your way. That's the message today. With the Six of Wands in reverse. You don't always get your way, and that's okay. You guys know about Cat Dog, yeah. How crazy is that? Look at the Oracle card. It's Sagittarius. That's wild. Let's go to the next level, because this is kind of energy we bring in from our past. Where we at today, man? Seven of Wands, the fire fam is standing up. We get into business. We're on a mission. We're expressing the anger is what I'm seeing too. There's a lot of ways to read expressing the anger, expressing the sadness, expressing the grief. It's so fucking hard sometimes to get in touch with these feelings. I think a lot of people would rather not feel them or push them to the side. So that's deep. That's powerful. You really have to feel some things to heal them. So for those going through the Five of Cups, I salute you, because that's work that lifts the whole world up. And I said this before. It just came out with the Moon in reverse on top of the Magician. This is how people legitimately avoid things. And I was thinking before I got on, but I want to tell you guys, it's like the new mission is like avoid avoidance. Hold up. That deserves you guys hear that? Mission avoid avoidance. Yeah, because that shit is killing us for real. Oh my goodness. That shit really be killing us. I mean, there are certain things that are hard to process, so it's just gotta work on learning how to process. You guys ever thought, like, if the countries that existed now spent like a little less on war and more on education, like how drastically fucking different the world would be if we were more educated, more empathetic, and less hostile? Because that's what the fuck I'm looking at in this goddamn spread, dude. It's crazy. It's like a violent world full of people who can't trust each other, but that lack of trust, which comes from fear and self-preservation, kind of brings out the energy we don't want to experience. It's really fucked up, and it's systemic. It's deep. It's beyond just each and every person, but each and every person has an opportunity to change this. Got that, brother, man. We got the Seven of Cups today. Chad, are we cooked? We cooked or what? The Seven of Cups, man. No, that's life. That's Scorpio Venus energy. That's options. That's a mobilization. Let me be really clear. That's like, there's a lot of ways to read a card, but that's freezing right here. That's glitching out a little bit. The Seven of Cups. Yeah, but you're gonna be all right. You're still good though. You're still good. The Seven of Cups is just to say be mindful of your options. Some of these are clearly not the right option. That's how we navigate this energy. We don't drink from the snake cup. We don't drink from the dragon cup unless we're trying to get freaky, you know? We still good. We know which way, we know how to navigate. The fire family knows what's good. The answers come from within. Sometimes they're the rough answers, I will say. Speaking on this hermit in reverse, you know, if you take the time to listen to the wounds, just let them express themselves, and you can hold and be still. You know, the body knows how to heal itself. Truly, the idea is really this: things have to be expressed. So we're gonna move forward. We're gonna see what the next half of the spread looks like, because that's the current energy. Of course, it's freaky fucking Billy, guys. Look at him. You said, "Oh no, I don't want to look at him." That's where you turn away. Look at him. Look at him. He's freaky. You were just watching Cat Dog. Look, now it's Freaky Billy's on. It's the devil. No gracias. It's almost gonna be Capricorn season too, so keep that in mind. That's his birthday. All right. But what does it mean? I mean, you guys know what it means. It hurts my heart because I feel the collective feeling it. You know, we using these archetypes. It's to stare at it. That's truly what it means. It's to stare at it. When I said avoid avoidance, that sounded like, yay, Mission Impossible. Hell yeah. And we forget that we really go into war. You know? Yeah. That means look at the grief. Look at the sorrow. Look at the pain. Look at your fear. Look at your regret. Make peace with this. The only way out of hell is through hell. That's what that says. With the devil out here, the Knight of Swords, you want to get on as fast as you can. Well, you got to embrace it. That's where your power lies. That's where your power lies. I mean, and happiness is literally right on the other side. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. Of course, where else would it be? Come on now. Yeah, where else would it be? This goes right back to what we were talking about earlier about taking things away. Addition by subtraction. It's like you're not going to remove certain things or like your whole past, but at the end of the day, when you confront it, the emotional charge is different. Your relationship is different. You're different. So of course it gets better after that. That's what we're looking forward to. What else we got? The Lovers. Are you kidding me? That's where shit gets really good. King of Pentacles, lots of money. What else could you want? I was about to say a bunch of money, of course. What else we got? The Lovers card. Is this the Kundalini? No, it's the Saheki. Mental health, guys. Mental health. It's truly an epidemic. I was asking AI about this a second ago. I'm not even gonna lie. About self-harm and unaliving, bruh. If you guys look at the World Health Organization stats, between 1,000 and 2,000 humans take their life every day, which is crazy. 2,000, give or take. And I was like asking AI a lot of questions. I was like, do animals do this? And the answer is no. Like, there's almost no animals in the animal kingdom that will willfully take their lives. There's certain things that can happen where they might, you know, not intake food or maybe not protect themselves so well, but those are only in responses to like traumatic things. So I say this to say, man, that like there is a lot of suffering in this world. And I think it's fair to say that it doesn't help us, fam. It really doesn't. It's maladaptive. Because what unaliving means, guys, that's a death of despair. And those are just the catastrophic instances. But if you were to count in, you know, heart disease or chronic stress and all the illnesses that come from those conditions, the number is probably a lot higher. And that means as a human species, this is catastrophic. This is the real epidemic. We are dying at an alarming rate because we don't want to stay alive. That's what that literally means. People don't want to be here. It's not fucking normal. Exactly right. It's not normal. that's maladaptive. And really, you can't fault people for wanting to escape pain because, like, damn, But here's the thing, fam. What I'm advocating for is that we change our lives on a personal and interpersonal and collective level so that we minimize the suffering that we experience on this planet. And I think that's one road to meaning for a lot of us. No matter how big or how small that contribution is, if we each and every one of us can step to that intention, this world will be monumentally better. And we'll also start to see, compound growth from our efforts and our collaboration multiplying. But what that means for us on a because like that's the big picture. You guys are seeing what I'm saying. That's great. It's great. It's crazy. But on a personal level, that means we just got to confront our own shadows. The shit that we want to run from, the shit that we want to hide from. It's best that we just confront it and take the power from it, take the wisdom from it, and then take the love from it and give that back to the world. I say give it back to yourself first. Fill your cup until it pours over. Heal your traumas, circumvent your traumas, give your wisdom to the world. That's what I'm seeing. Heal the conditions that cause it. No one said it's going to be easy. Let me say that first and foremost. But it will be awesome. It will be really awesome. So let's do the next level. Because I look, that's the beautiful thing, man. I didn't think that this conversation was going to go this deep, but I'm speaking from these cards, man. The grief of the 5 of Cups, the 7 of Cups, the Devil. This is Sagittarius season, guys. So I'm going to tell you, it looks like this week things are going to move fast. I would really say for the rest of the year, man. Like, I don't know how you experience time, but for me, November was like a blink. Oh my goodness. So now here we are in December. Get your rituals on. Consider journeying to the spirit of Sagittarius or the spirit of December in your journey work and communing with the spirit of the season, because it can give you some good insight on how you may wish to navigate it. Okay. But I just want to say things usually move fast when it's in Sag. And then you've got the Knight of Pentacles right next to the 8 of Wands saying Temperance, which ironically is the card of Sagittarius, but I'm saying slow and fast, right? Temperance. Slow, fast. I heard somebody say, there's a saying, I don't want to butcher it, but some of y'all probably already know. You're probably already receiving the thought. I heard there's a saying that goes, slow is fast. Slow is fast. Or like slow is good and good is fast, or something like that. I think I just butchered it, but I might have nailed it. I don't know. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, let me know for sure. Okay, we got the 4 of Wands. Slow is good, good is fast. Okay. And I mentioned this earlier, guys, but this is literally about stacking the wins. Because with the passion of the 8 of Wands, you take the persistence of the Knight of Pentacles and also the thoroughness of the Knight of Pentacles. And then you add it to the celebration of the 4 of Wands. And what that literally looks like is having the long, guys, I'm breaking it down. Let them cook. This is fantastic energy. Clock this. Number 1, have the long view, but really show up and do the work, and then stack the little wins, stack every win, stack the mindset wins. You really want to be in the energy of programming. Like, I want to put it this way, guys. You're watching a video, right? Do you remember when people used to call the television programs? And that's a crazy word to think about. Like, the media, it's a media program, so you can watch what's been programmed. But the idea is that we're also being programmed by what we're consuming. So keep that in mind when we do everything. I'm talking when you sleep, when you get out of bed, when you shower, when you see yourself in the mirror, or pluck your eyebrows and don't even see the person in front of you, or when you're at the gym, or when you're reading books or kicking it with your kids. remember what you're programming your life to be. You know, and I'll generalize and make this into extremes, but like, you want to choose positivity over negativity. Let's say you're conquering goals. One situation, two different people. You're getting out of bed, you're going to the gym, you're getting after it. There's one person who's pushing the weight and they're like, fuck, this hurts. I don't want to do this. This is killing me. But you might have another person pushing weight in the gym saying, I'm getting so strong. I'm unbeatable. I'm him slash her slash them. You know, all other things being equal, which one's going to have a better experience? I mean, it's the positive one, obviously, but like, think about the programming of that as well. You know, you could have everything right, but if you just don't know that you're directing energy, the mindset might be a little bit off, which is probably going to counterbalance the actions too. So I'm just saying, get right with the get right. This spread is clearly saying, man, this is going to be an amazing future for you. Things are going to manifest pretty easily for you because you're actually willing to do the hard work. It's going to get better and better and better, and the momentum's going to stack. And the irony here is that it's a process orientation. It's cool to have a good goal, post a goal or a target. It's like, that's there. Don't mistake that it's there, but that's not what we're focusing on. It almost looks like barely give a fuck about the goal because we're so focused on the process. That's what I'm seeing. It's like, I don't give a shit about the goal. The goal just comes because I love the process. That's what I like to see. Beautiful. So what do we got? We got the 9 of Wands in reverse in the middle where we're headed. And man, I just say, you know, show up and do it. Do it tired, do it exhausted, put in the pain. Make the sacrifice. Remove those things. Take things out of your life. And give yourself space to heal. That's what I'm really seeing in this spread. Like there's a journey that you're going on. Go hard on that journey. And I want to say don't go hard on yourself, but I also don't, because like these words, man, what I'm intending to say is, you know, push yourself. Help yourself realize all your potential, but be kind to yourself too. Is be kind to yourself. You can push yourself while being kind to yourself. Don't lose your kindness for self. Sometimes pushing yourself is the kind thing to do. But just listen to yourself. Listen to your emotions. Listen to your heart. Page of Cups is out here as well. I always took Page of Cups as the inner child, among other things. But I'm going to finish this spread for you guys, and we need to get to it. The Page of Cups out here is also about daring to dream. It sits behind the Devil. The Page of Cups is our joy and imagination and our higher possibilities. It's the youthful, innocent, eternal part of us and how we bring that to life in the day-to-day, the Page of Cups. And the Devil behind here is saying that, you know, it takes work to be daring and to dream and to condition yourself to create your own program. That's the truth for a multitude of reasons. A lot of people don't know they can create their own program. And that's kind of crazy, guys, because, you know, birds of a feather flock together, right? And then if people start to take on the programs of each other and the programs of the environment, and somebody starts to take on their own program, even without knowing this game, so to speak, the people in the other program could start to look at the person in their program and be like, no, you're not supposed to be there. You're so weird. What are you doing? Get out of that. You know, and then that's that devil energy. It's like, you don't want to step out of line because you don't want people to look at you like you're crazy, right? Fuck it. Do your thing. Let them think you're crazy. Let them think whatever the fuck they want to think. What you think about you is what really matters, because you can't negate or deny your own consciousness, your own conscience. You know what's real. You know who the fuck you are. The pages also take a little work too, guys. So keep that in mind. That's the earth element. Our dreams are going to have some assembly required. We got the Tower in reverse, and then we got the 10 of Wands in reverse. So we could talk about this spread all day, but what I see more than anything is saying no and taking things off the table. Let's look at just the first card, the middle card, and then the last card. See, it's saying that, each of us has this frustration on some level. It's a human emotion, this frustration, this unexpressed energy, and then there's a ton of options, an immobilizing amount of options, right? Oh my goodness. So you move forward, you proceed by taking options off the table. I think this is genius. Let me tell you why. You guys know that the human body, it's not wired for happiness, it's wired for survival. All of life is basically encoded the same way. We're wired for survival, not necessarily for happiness. So in terms of having goal completion or living a really good life, it may actually be harder for you to use your body to try to think, okay, what is the best thing for me to do? What is the best goal? What is reasonable in, a smart goal, etc. You may actually get further and move faster and more directly by looking at it the opposite. Like, rather than what do I want to be, what do I not want to be? Rather than what things should I be doing or could I be doing? What things should I not be doing? What things should I cut out of my life, eliminate entirely? Like, that's easier. Like, let's face it, not doing shit is so much easier than doing shit. So in the interest of growth, in the interest of evolution, that's what I'm seeing, is that there is a frustration here that's going on. And at worst, a self-inflicted punishment. And I fucking hate this, bro. Like, I'm not trying to direct this energy to anyone personally, because I hate the fact that this shit exists, bro. Speaking on the mental health crisis, the fact that people get so fucking frustrated, they think that they are the problem. That's the shit that pisses me off, bro. And honestly, no. No, we can attack this in a lot of different ways. A lot of the things we do in our modern lives are pretty maladaptive. So maladaptive behavior kind of comes from the environment. It's kind of crazy. But so for that reason, I say it's going to be a good week. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Because it's going to be easy as we move. And hey, look at the magician out here. As we move to the full moon, like, man, it's going to be easy. We're going to use the moon as leverage. We're going to do what witches do. We're going to go with the flow, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. There's the wish lap. It's going to be really good. 2 more cards. I'm going to crown this off for the kings and queens, the divine readings. Okay, let me do 2 cards. They said, no, you'll get 3. I said, no, I'm in control here. You taking those back. Don't play with me. You got to do what you got to do, Fire Family. This is the Om. This is the Om chat. And this is the message you're meant to receive, is that that voice is not going to use itself. Overcome muteness. Overcome muteness. It's okay to willfully choose to be silent, but use your words as proclamations and spells. And if you find yourself just coasting and being silent for no reason, start to talk. Don't be afraid to talk to yourself. Even if you live with people, especially if you live with people, talk to yourself. Show other people the power of affirmation. Even if they look at you weird for a second, you have to lead the people around you. You have to. You literally have to, bro. It's an abdication of responsibility to assume other people are going to raise your standards for you. You hear what I'm saying? So you have to raise the standards of everybody around you. Not everybody's going to choose this path. It's hot in the fucking kitchen, fam. But you heard this message for a reason, and you can't unhear it. So at this point, you falling short is an ethical issue. Fuck your world up. That's why you can't sleep right now. 2 a.m. type shit. Last card is the 10 of Pentacles, okay? It's the 10 of Pentacles. And that's beautiful, because if your words are proclamations, man, you speak health and wealth and love and happiness and joy into your life. You change the way that you think, you change the way that you act, you change the way that you live and exist in this world. I see a lot of people circumventing their traumas and healing and doubling back and giving the blueprint to others. I think that shit is gangsta. That's why we're here, is it not? Nothing else makes sense. No, a couple things make sense. I make sense. I'm going back to the temple, y'all. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Prosperous week is what it says. Just don't forget to do your damn mantras. Don't forget ever to be disciplined. Always remember, be disciplined. Discipline is the obligation to Malkuth. Discipline is the obligation to Malkuth. So pay your dues. I love you. I'll see you soon, Fire Family. It's Mr. Meyer with the what? With the fire. Here to take the collective vibe higher. Always remember, our sole intention is to reconcile all paradox with love and truth, and I love you. See you soon.